This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Hosea Burton here at Gallagher's Gym in Bolton. Hosea, first and foremost, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
It's good to hear, mate. It's good to hear. Now, obviously, you're getting ready now to fly out to Latvia to face Ricard Bolotniks. Just talk to me about that firstly, your thoughts on obviously having to face Bolotniks in the semi-finals of a Golden Contract tournament.
It is what it is. To be fair, I didn't really want to go to Latvia, but I'm not bothered about travelling to Latvia. I'm not bothered about fighting Ricard Bolotnik. It's just another step towards the final. And you got to fight who you got to fight, and it wasn't in our choice. Listen, someone picked out the balls, and the golden ball was the last ball to be drawn. So, listen, not bothered. It is what it is.
What do you make of Ricard as a fighter? What are you expecting from him?
Ricard's not a bad fighter. He's
Sorry about that.
Yeah, he's not a bad fighter. He looked very impressive against Stephen Ward, but I think that was a really bad Stephen Ward on the night. And I'm not giving too much away, but I reckon I can beat Ricard easy enough.
If you was to be victorious, obviously leads into that final, who do you feel you would end up facing? Obviously Liam Conroy versus Serge Michel, the other semi-final.
Right, so that fight's a really tricky fight. You'd say the ever so slightly more skilled would be Michel, but the more stronger would be Conroy. Who holds the shot the best? I don't really know. Both of them gets chinned. Alright, Michel's only been knocked out once off of Ford's, who caught him with a money punch. Conroy's been hurt a few times, been stopped a few times, so I'm thinking towards later rounds Conroy stoppage or Michel points.
What would victory in the Golden Contract tournament do for yourself?
Victory in the Golden Contract tournament, it mean everything, wouldn't it? It mean world title shots, 5-fight contract. It'd be something that I was really looking for, you know, something that you don't always get offered. So it's one of them things that it's a must win, because it's like your golden ticket. I know they call it the Golden Contract, but it is your golden ticket to the big time in boxing. If you're good enough, you'll make it, and if you're not, you've had your chance.
I know how tough the last couple of years or so have been for yourself, waiting for a big opportunity. Would you have imagined that it would have come in this kind of format whilst you was waiting for it?
No, I never thought it would be like this. The last few years has been very, very, very hard to stay 100% dedicated and focused, because as you know, I've not just had the chances. I've been up there willing to go, wanting to fight anybody, and the chances have just not come across. If a chance has came across, it's been for absolute no money at all, where it just doesn't make sense. So for it to come across in this format is great, because you're getting plenty of fights. You're getting better as you're going along. By the final, I'll be peaking. I'll be ready to fight anybody. Never mind just. I think the hardest semi is the semi I'm in now. That should be the final. The real final should have been me and Yarde-Spelman, but I've already dealt with that one, so I'll have to deal with this one, and then everything's smooth sailing from there.
Talk to me about sparring throughout this process. Obviously, you've had to contend with the pandemic and lockdown. Has it been easy to get sparring in, or have people been a bit cautious still?
I think everyone's been eager to get back at things, get back to normal, whatever normal is. So everyone took the lockdown serious, and everyone was really scared for a while, but then nobody really had any family or friends what was falling sick all the time. Okay, there was a few, with an exception, but I don't really know many people who had coronavirus and died of it, and a lot more people didn't know many. So with regards of sparring, it hasn't been that hard of getting sparring.
Just to touch on the light heavyweight division, obviously a few fights that have taken place recently, domestically. Start off this past weekend, Yarde-Spelman, six-round stoppage victory for Anthony. What did you make of his performance?
I never watched the fight. I never watched it, but that fight shouldn't have even been passed by the board, because Lyndon Arthur already had beat Yarde-Spelman. So why didn't they find somebody fresh who never just come off a defeat wasn't down of yourself and probably out on the beer. You know, when you get beat, you're in such a low, devastating place. So to pick yourself back up for another big fight, I don't think that fight should have happened. Why didn't he fight somebody the likes of... I don't even know. I can't even think of anybody over to fight.
Domestically, the only name certainly at that level, which is always kind of mentioned, who hasn't fought recently, is probably Craig Richards.
Craig Richards, he's not worth a carrot. He's not worth talking about him. Ricky Summers, right? He's a fight for somebody. You know, he can be knocked out, but he's very durable. He's a tough man. He keeps coming. You know, I know he'd be there for the work. He wants to fight and he wants the big fight. So you put Yarde-Spelman and Ricky Summers in, and Ricky Summers beats Yarde-Spelman. So why didn't they put Ricky Summers against him?
Yarde's victory does mean that about with Lyndon Arthur is kind of in the process of being finalised or agreed. When that is kind of announced, what do you make of it, Anthony Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur?
Well, put it this way, I'd stop Lyndon Arthur inside 4 rounds. And I'm not being big-headed and I'm not trying to be clever and this, that or the other. Lyndon can fight to an extent, but if you wanted a real test for Yarde, get me. Because I'd punch Yarde's face in. That fight with Lyndon and Yarde, if Lyndon comes out and tries to be the bully fighter, it will go in his favour. Lyndon's got the tools to beat him, but will he use them tools to his maximum? I don't know.
Another name which is floating about now, the new British champion, Shakan Peters. I know you're sparring Chad Sugden in preparations for his bout with Shakan. Firstly, just reflect on that. What do you make of Shakan's victory over Chad?
Good victory. He boxed well. That's the fight I watched. Chad looked like he was happy to lose. He was happy to be in there, you know, make the numbers up, smile about the matter. And, you know, I only seen it once or twice. Chad actually put a little bit of pressure on him. And Chad seemed to brighten up the place a little bit. Like, he caught him a few shots and you seen Shakan wasn't happy about it. All right, Shakan was in his comfort zone. Shakan's not a bad fighter. He needs a few more to learn still, but listen, he's got the British title. He'll learn on the job.
Where do you think Shakan can go now? So you mentioned he's got that British title. He's got an obvious height and reach advantage over most. Probably, well, you might be obviously a similar height to himself, but
no, he's actually a little bit bigger than me. He's 6'6", so I've heard. I'm 6'4". Okay. But the thing is with Shakan, I don't think he can hold a punch at all. What I've heard and what I've seen little bits of him, he's very vulnerable when he gets hit.
Just want to quickly touch on a couple of other things before I let you shoot, just away from yourself and away from the gym. We've obviously seen about a week ago, Canelo's opened legal proceedings against DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya and what have you. Callum Smith, one of your campmates, was in the running for that fight. What do you make of that entire situation?
Well, I don't really know much about that situation, so to me, to have an opinion on that is not a very good one.
We'll move away from that one. And final thing, obviously, we've seen Matchroom announce some shows recently, well, yesterday rather. White Povetkin 2 being announced immediately following on from their rematch. If you was in Dillian's shoes, would you go straight for a rematch or would you have thought to have had an interim bout first?
If I was Povetkin, I'd be saying, why do I need to fight him again? I've already knocked his head off once. Did it need to be? Did it need to be a rematch straight away?
I'm not sure on kind of legalities on it, but
it's just he wasn't a world champion, right? Why did there need to be rematch clauses in that? But anyway, if you beat somebody once, you've a good chance of beating them again. It's not a fight that really excites me.
Jose, we'll leave that there and we'll leave you now to shoot off. Appreciate it, Tom. Obviously, best of luck in Latvia next week as well. Thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you.